Firstly, people need to get the entire idea of going viral out of their mind, because going viral isn't really going to get you anything. Because if you go viral for like a one-off post and that's not even your community, it's just useless having those people there, because they're not going to be interested into the following posts. And if going viral isn't even getting you revenue for your business, then what's the point of going viral? So I would say get that idea out of your head, and once you have, always write your posts like you're talking to a friend. I say that because when we say authenticity, people just feel like it's a buzzword everyone's throwing around, authenticity and community, but it's actually how people identify you. Like if you read my posts online, it should feel exactly how you would when you're talking to me in person or through a screen. It shouldn't feel different, because that's what makes people want to follow you and follow along your journey. So forget about the metrics. First, focus on how you're actually writing, because once you have that in place, people automatically will want to follow along your journey.
Before we dive into today's episode, please hit that subscribe button. Your support helps us grow and inspire more people on their journeys. Thank you. Hello, Kamya. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. So excited to be here.
So, Kamya, for those who don't know you, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, of course. So, hi everyone, I'm Kamya. You might know me as your neighborhood marketer on LinkedIn, but I create a lot of content around marketing, personal branding, breaking down kind of the top marketing campaigns in the industry. And I'm also a content and community lead for a B2B startup outside of my LinkedIn journey.
As you said that, it was actually something that stood out to me, because when I was looking more at your background and what you do, I really like the title. So what made you to come up with such a title? I think it's quite unique. I like it. It stayed in my mind. So what story behind it?
I think when I was starting out, kind of building my whole like personal brand, I always wanted to be this really friendly face that people could approach and ask me stuff about marketing, personal branding, life in general. And I just wanted them to feel like even if we aren't neighbors in like kind of the direct sense, I am kind of that close person that they can count on. And I always identified myself as like a marketer even early on. So I was like, why not combine the two and just create your neighborhood marketer?
I think it's really smart, because especially, for example, on LinkedIn, you see, of course, so many profiles. There are a lot of marketers or people who do personal branding, but when there is someone with such a title, I think it really stands out. So I think it's a smart move.
Thank you.
So can you tell us then more about your background, such as, if I read correctly, you even studied it, you come from the family of entrepreneurs. So what is it like that inspired you like to start this journey, or tell us more even what you did before?
Yes, so I moved to the UK 4 years ago to study IT and business at UCL. And when I was about to graduate in my third year, I realized like, oh, I don't really have like a typical graduate job lined up. My friends were like, oh, either we're gonna do masters or we're gonna join like the big four or a bank. And I was like, oh, I don't have anything. And I was always really interested working very closely with founders. So I was like, oh, because if you want to work closely with founders, you also have to be very well connected to them. Kind of, it's a close-knit community among in the startup world. So I was like, why don't I start posting on LinkedIn just about like my journey as a student and what I'm learning, what societies I'm part of. So when I started posting around January 2024, I had no idea about, what is community engagement, what is it like that you have to support other people, you have to be consistent. So it was very sporadic. It was like I scheduled my posts, vanished off platform, and it was just not kind of ideal to LinkedIn in general. And I was like, I think a few posts into it, and I was like, this is not going to land me a job. People are just lying that LinkedIn is a gold mine. I don't think this is meant for me. And I just went completely ghost mode until fast forward September 2024, when I walked that stage, got my degree, and I was like, I don't have a job. Let me just give this another go. So by another go, I meant spending over 8 hours on LinkedIn straight for 30 days, commenting on every person, whether I knew them or not, on their posts, DMing them, asking basically everyone I knew for either advice, job, referral, networking, just anything I could get. And to my surprise, LinkedIn was a gold mine, and I ended up getting my first
Yeah.
job through LinkedIn through simply posting online.
So it's a gold mine if you know how to use it and if you are willing to put the reps in, basically. I guess sometimes people expect just I don't know, to show up, create a profile, not even spend much time on it and see the results. But as you said correctly, it takes a few hours per day and
It
consistency, right?
does. Yeah.
And as you mentioned before, that you started, I believe, in January, what actually made you like to go, I don't know, to LinkedIn? Was it that someone advised you, you already knew the platform, or, why LinkedIn in the first place?
I think so. When as university students, the first thing that they're told is like, oh, don't forget to update your LinkedIn profile because that's what you're going to attach to your job applications. So I was just updating my LinkedIn profile, and then I kept coming across these posts like, oh, I'm building my personal brand, or my goal for like 2024 is to hit like X amount of followers. And I was like, oh, what's this entire term about, like personal branding? Because LinkedIn was always introduced to us as this like corporate B2B rigid platform where you're just supposed to post about like your milestones or like, oh, you got accepted into this job offer. So I was like, oh, let me do a bit of like diving deep into this. So I connected with a few people, asked them about how they started, what they would recommend. And I was like, okay, now I'm trying to understand it. So I spent a few like weeks just observing the landscape, optimized my profile accordingly. And then that's when I was like, okay, in January, like I'm ready to put out my first post. Let me do it.
I actually like that you said it because it makes me kind of remember when I, not to say started, but maybe started taking it more seriously because it was also at university when they told us to, for those people who didn't have profile at all, to at least set up the profile
Yes.
and then kind of improve it. Of course, it wasn't like kind of these days when it's like a different story, like a personal branding, but before, at least have a decent profile so that actually it makes you to stand out from the others. So I just would encourage people, maybe like the students, if any students are listening, it's a great advice. Don't underestimate it. And later on, you will be grateful for that.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wish I started earlier as well.
I think that's something that all of us think.
Yeah, true.
And I think another great point that you shared is that, as we all know, LinkedIn is a networking platform where you can connect literally with everyone. And if you like politely text to people, it's actually such an easy and great way how to, I don't know, get advice, connect with someone, even some opportunities. So I would say to people, don't be afraid to that, but at the same time, do it kind of in a smart way because I'm sure that you know from your experience that sometimes you get sales pitches from people or I don't know, like DMs that are not even, polite or somehow it's the first message, so just make impression.
Yeah.
So I would just
Yeah.
tell to people to use some kind of common sense and
Yeah.
take advantage of that.
Yeah, I agree because I feel like I always get like sales pitches as well. But even when I'm kind of getting people to ask for advice, it's not the right way. Like it doesn't feel very respectful or it feels very self-centered. But I feel like whenever you're kind of approaching someone, especially when you want help, always give first before you ask. I think that's like a really big thing that helped me when connecting with people.
I agree, and sometimes I think that people also forget that, of course, it's a DM. You can be friendly and everything, but at the same time, sometimes it feels like I don't know that people forget like good manners, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes you get a message even without the greeting, hey mate, whatever, blah blah. It's
Yeah.
okay to keep it friendly, but at the same time, sometimes it's good to at least show some respect. Although I don't want to make it sound
Yes.
like very respectful, but I'm sure that you know what I mean.
Yeah. True. Agree.
So then in your LinkedIn journey, where did you actually like see the point that you're going to build your brand there? Was it actually when you showed up for the second time or when it kind of clicked that you were going to focus on it?
I think it was definitely the second time when I got my job. And I think I'm really, really grateful for my mindset that I did not stop posting on LinkedIn even when I got my first job because 6 months into getting that job, I was made redundant. And the fact that it was my first job right after graduating from my undergrad degree, I was like, this is another setback. I just faced hundreds and hundreds of rejections. So
Mhm.
if it wasn't for my personal brand and posting on LinkedIn, I wouldn't have gotten any other freelance opportunities to keep me afloat after that. I wouldn't have gotten my current job. So I feel like through the journey, I just realized the importance that no matter what you're doing in your professional journey, your personal brand is really what's going to stay centric always. And that's something I decided that, okay, I have to keep building on it and I have to stay consistent with it no matter what I'm doing.
think it's a great point because I think as the time changes, of course, I guess people still use like a CVs,
Yeah.
1 page or 2 pages or whatever. Yes, of course, it like tells something to the employer, but
Yeah.
at the same time, if you check someone's profile on LinkedIn, you can see like the whole profile history,
Yeah.
posts, even the way
Yeah.
the person engaged. So it's just another great
Exactly.
point, not to underestimate it.
Yeah. Completely agree.
And looking back, what was it like compared, for example, to your classmates or even later on to your coworkers? Did they also see the potential in LinkedIn, or were you like outlier out of many, or what was it like?
I think especially like people that I studied with, so my course mates, haven't seen even one of them actually like post. I feel like they have definitely seen the positive influence because they follow me very closely. But I think it's just that people are very, very shy. They just feel like it's too cringy or it's just like not them. And to be honest, I did not see myself putting myself out there on a platform like LinkedIn, which I always considered professional. You have to swallow the cringe. And then same with my coworkers. So I actually have influenced the founders of the current startup to swallow the cringe and start posting. So I'm pushing them out of their comfort zone and helping them post. And that's exactly why I got hired in the first place, because they really like my personal brand and they wanted me to help them build theirs. So I feel like it's definitely had an influence for the founders that I'm working with, but not so much for the course mates, for example.
I think then it's a great example, and I only agree. I felt the
Yeah.
same, whether it's posted on LinkedIn, and it's, for example, the same even with when recording the podcast or recording the video for LinkedIn or something. I think it's natural. First time you feel cringe, scared, people are going to judge you, but then you do it more times and it just becomes second nature, and maybe later on you even start enjoying that. So I would also
Yeah.
just encourage people, give it a try. You'll see that it's not
Yeah.
such a big deal. People don't care as much, and you might even
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless you try it, you won't know. So the hardest thing is to try, but you have to try for you to know and see where it leads to.
Hmm. Can you then tell us more about your strategy on LinkedIn? And maybe even if you have strategy in the first place, such as, for example, with your posting, what you post, and stuff like that?
Yes, I feel like before anything, my strategy is always that I want to be very community first. So I want to make sure that I'm supporting everyone's posts in the comments, whether it's someone that I've been like following for a really long time or whether I've just gotten introduced to them. I want to try my best that I am like cheering them on in the comments, because a lot of the times it's not as easy to show up, especially on social media. So I think my first strategy, even before I kind of hit post, is like, let me engage with people who've already posted, and then once I've posted, I want to stay on the platform a little longer so I can reply back to the comments that I'm getting on my own post, and then also, again, engage with other people posting. So I think that community first strategy has really, really helped me kind of build my own community of people. And the other thing with my strategy is that I want like a really good balance of personal branding and marketing. So one of the kind of posts that I'd really like to do is breaking down marketing campaigns in the industry, whether it's like a brand that I've been following for a while or it's something that really caught my eye. I want to make sure that I'm kind of giving my 2 cents on why it was a good strategy and what brands can learn from it. And then I like to also add like a bit of flexibility to my content calendar. So whatever I feel like posting, or if there's like a new trend that I think I can hop on, then we'll leave a bit of space for that.
So you don't have like a set schedule that you have to post, let's say, I don't know, 3 times, 4 times per week.
So I definitely do try for 3 times a week, and I would say I've been very consistent with that. It's just that I don't like, I know a lot of people say like, oh, Monday I want to post like an educational post, or Wednesday I want to post definitely a carousel. So for me, it's like, yes, I want to post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or more like I want to post 3 times a week, but I'm very, very flexible as to like what I want to post on which day. And even the days are pretty flexible. So if I feel like posting like a mini vlog on a Thursday, I'll be like, yeah, sure, I can do that instead of a Friday. So it's no like pressure for me that I have to stick to the Monday, Wednesday, Friday routine.
What I like about it is that the reason why I asked the question, that people often say that you have to post, I don't know, one day this, another day this, and another day
Yeah.
that. But if it works for someone, it doesn't mean that everyone needs to follow that, right? So, for example,
Exactly.
as you just said now, for you, something else works. So,
Yeah.
if you hear advice from someone, you can try it, you can test it, but if it doesn't work for you, just find
Yeah.
what works for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think also what's the most important is in the end to enjoy it, right? Because it's
Yeah.
a long journey. You have to keep showing up no matter what, and having
Yeah.
fun is the most important.
Exactly. I mean, if you don't enjoy it, you won't be able to stay consistent with it because you will want to give up really soon. So, whatever works for you, you have to find that system and schedule, I would say.
Exactly. And you mentioned that you, for example, like to break down some marketing strategies or trends. So, what are some that caught your eye recently?
I think one of them is of my favorite brand. They're called Indie Wild. And they did like this. They basically combined the hot sauce that you put in your food with like a lip balm, and they created like this entire like chili themed campaign around it. They sent chili themed like PR boxes to like influencers in their community. They also did like I think like a community lunch. So I think that one really caught my eye. I mean, I love their brand in general and love the campaigns, but I think it was like a really, really good twist on how they kind of blended a unique twist in the product and making sure that it's going to appeal to like their wider community.
I'm not going to lie, I do not know them, so I will have to check them out after.
Yeah, you should.
But I was going to say that actually one of the things that stood out to me from your content is the way that you design, for example, your carousels, because I feel like that it just looks unique, kind of fun,
Yeah.
and it caught my eye, and I really enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, they do take a while, and I have had them copied by a lot of people, but yeah, we move fast and we keep going.
What was your reaction like when you saw it on someone else's profile or someone else just copied the design?
Actually, more than being surprised at them copying my carousel, someone even copied my headline.
Oh my God,
I
was it actually the neighborhood marketing?
No. So it was like a
Oh my.
really unique headline of like how I integrate like marketing and community. I don't remember. It was like I feel like a few months ago, and my first reaction was calling a group of LinkedIn friends that I've now like they're LinkedIn creators and now they're friends. And I just remember calling them and ranting to them about how I want to leave LinkedIn. This is not for me. I don't want to do it anymore. They've taken my personality. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I confronted them. I don't think it went anywhere, so I've moved past it.
Yeah, but it's funny because it reminds me, it's just a coincidence, but once I noticed that someone on LinkedIn used my profile picture. And I saw it, I was like, wow, why would you do that?
Yeah, that's so
So
weird.
I guess that sometimes I always try to keep in mind that nothing surprises me on LinkedIn. You know, you get DMs, you see interesting profiles and everything, but still there is something new that is going to surprise you.
Yeah, I feel like if someone's copying me, they can copy me, sure, but they always be a step behind me, and they never know my next move. So I'm like, sure, you can go on
That is
copying
true.
me, but I'm still gonna be ahead of you in that, so it's fine.
Exactly. Then they are going to copy you again, and they will need to
Yeah.
try to keep up
No,
with
because
your
I
content.
saw someone this morning. I thought the copying was only on LinkedIn, but the copying even like went on to Instagram. So I was like, oh, this is very interesting. I'm just
Oh,
discovering new copycats.
yeah. I mean, I always try to keep in mind or advise people, to see it as inspiration, which everyone
Yeah.
gets inspired somewhere and somehow, but don't copy it. I mean, there isn't really much to say why you shouldn't copy, yeah, so just don't do it. And just as
Yeah.
we are actually talking about this, what will be some of your inspirations?
I think I really, really like Grad Girl Marketing's marketing breakdown. I think I love how she's like so on top of the like marketing news of the week and of the month. And a lot of like the campaigns that I then break down at the end of the month is actually influenced by her kind of breakdown. So I really love her breakdowns. I think when it comes to
Mhm.
storytelling marketing, I'm really loving the brand Salt. They're an electrolyte brand, and I love how they're integrating personal branding and marketing. So the founders are just becoming the face of the brand. I love their electrolytes. I love them as well. So I think they are kind of like a key inspiration what I want to eventually do when I hopefully start kind of like my own venture.
As you just said that, if I remember correctly, when you were younger or still now, you have some kind of business, don't you? Selling some kind of
Yes,
artwork.
yes, I do.
So do you want to
I
tell us
did.
more about it?
Yeah, of course. So I basically, so I grew up in Delhi. And after I graduated high school and before I was gonna move to the UK, I had to take a gap here due to the pandemic. And even though I was doing a lot of internships to kind of keep myself busy during the gap year, I was going absolutely insane locked at home. So I was like, I need to find myself a bit of a creative hobby. And I stumbled upon this art form called mandalas. And while I was kind of drawing it and I was learning the art form, I found that it was really, really calming. And then I one by one just started stumbling upon different art forms. I was always a creative person, but I was never into the literal form of art always. So in the process, I realized that a lot of people that were selling artworks, they were always selling it as a piece of decor or as an investment, but no one was selling the idea that when you look at a piece of art, it can actually calm your mind. So even if you aren't an artist, if you have a piece of decor and it's art, if you just stare at it, you can follow the patterns, you can follow the colors, and your mind is actually going to calm itself after like a really hard day. And I wanted to sell that idea. So I kind of started on that venture. The first 6 months, I got zero orders because I had no marketing experience straight out of high school. But I did a lot of research. I bought from kind of other small businesses, found a gap in the market about personalization, kind of refined what I actually want to sell. So, refined my products, refined my entire experience. And then I set out. I was able to kind of sell quite a few number of artworks. But when I moved to the UK, I had to kind of stop accepting orders because I was on a visa and I'm not allowed to kind of run my business on a visa. So all in all, I haven't been able to run it full time, but even though I've kind of run it for 16 months off and on, I still been able to customize over 800 artworks and each of them have been like personally customized. So it's not like I'm gonna create one thing and then kind of print it off and create like duplicates of it, but each of them have been like handmade. So they've either been coasters or canvases. I've created like custom earrings. So I've preserved flowers and earrings for people. But yeah, hopefully I can run it all around the year one day. But right now I'm just treating it as like the page that I have as something that I kind of find art everywhere around me. So I'm taking the literal meaning of art and also helping people find art in the metaphorical sense. If that all makes
Hmm.
sense, I feel like that's such a long-winded answer.
No, I think it sounds great. I was going to say that if I remember correctly, you started kind of during the lockdown, right?
Yes, I did. Yes.
That although lockdown was such, unfortunate period for all of us, but at the same time, you can see that actually it gave you some new ideas and helped you to start something new, even though it was, such a bad timing.
I know, yeah. I mean, I never thought I would get into it, but it all happens for a reason, I think. So, yeah.
That is true. And do you actually have a website or do you sell it throughout your social media? Or, for example, if people wanted to check out any of your work, where can they find it?
Yes, so it's all on my Instagram, which is Kamya's underscore creatives. And yeah, because it's all personalized, I just realized that it's best for people to like look at what I actually make and then let me know the colors. And if they want, like, for example, there's a canvas and you want like shades of green, so it's going to be completely customized to you. But if your friend wants like more of dark green, less of light green, then that's going to be a different piece. So I just figured
Mhm.
that social media and then them approaching me is the best way.
Is that actually something that is like on your mind that in the future you might come back and either start again as kind of fun or even make it into something bigger as a business?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just a matter of kind of finding my feet into the ground because being an international is like very hard in itself. I have a lot of other things that I need to prioritize first. But I think the fact that I've kind of kept that Instagram page going, I've found like the pivot and I still see myself creating art. I feel like it's definitely something I want to do. It's just a matter of time when I'm able to kind of fully sit down with the idea and then say like, okay, this is how I want to take this forward.
And I'm pretty sure that as you've been building your brand until now, as you keep building and you've got such a great following, for example, on LinkedIn, it just helps you to apply all the knowledge, findings, and basically leverage your brand even more, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna be like in a matter of time that I start talking about like the fact that I'm also like a very creative person on LinkedIn. I think it's definitely I see something I see myself soon integrating into like my whole content strategy. I think it's an important part of me and I want people to know it.
And I think it's also very smart that you have it kind of hidden in the background. You keep building the brand,
Yeah.
then you bring it, and there are
Yeah.
so many people. Because I was about actually to mention that as we are recording now, you are about to hit
Yeah.
quite a big, beautiful milestone on LinkedIn. So it's kind of a perfect timing.
Yeah, I've been meaning to hit 20,000 followers for a while now and yeah, I'm just waiting till the numbers turn.
I'm pretty sure that once we release this, as we are recording a bit in advance, it will be already there. So when people are watching now, congratulations, because I'm sure it will be there.
Thank you.
Are you struggling to stay consistent on LinkedIn? Fan Post helps you create high quality posts in minutes, so you can write faster, show up more, and stress way less. Built by creators for creators. Is the easiest way to grow your presence without burning out. Try it free at fanpost.com. And I was about to ask because, as you mentioned before, you moved to the UK and you are here for a visa. Does it mean that then you need to come back, right?
Hopefully not. Hopefully I get to stay
Oh,
because
mhm.
I'm working with a startup now who are hopefully going to be able to sponsor me and I hopefully will be able to stay in the UK because that was my entire plan to be able to kind of build a life outside. So yeah,
Mhm.
hopefully it goes to plan.
So, what was the primarily reason for moving here? Was it for education, or did you see it, to start with the education and then kind of stay here and live here?
Yeah, I think definitely. It was first education. So it was always my parents' kind of dream to send me abroad. So I came here for education for my undergrad degree. I was supposed to do a master's, but I wanted to take a bit of break from education, get a bit of experience, see where my interest actually lied before I specialize into something. So that's exactly what I'm doing right now. And then hopefully
Mhm.
I'll be able to continue within the UK to do my education, build my own venture one day, and yeah, stay on.
Does it then mean that you are actually still planning to continue education?
Yes. Yes, definitely. I think it was just a matter of like I wanted to understand if marketing is something I want to specialize in or if it's something else. And once I have figured that out, then it would be like, okay, now I can start sending in my applications.
Because you know what it is, people often feel like that one day I will continue education, but then you
Yeah.
start working, life gets
Yeah.
busy, and it may not happen in the end.
Yeah, no, I think so. After I graduated, I actually did apply for masters. I got in, but it was my decision to turn those offers down. So I definitely see myself doing it. It's just again, matter of time.
What type of course or what would you want to study then?
I think if not a specialized master's into entrepreneurship or strategy, then definitely an MBA. But I see
Hmm.
myself kind of in the business field for sure.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Hope it goes well. And if you come
Thank
back
you.
to LinkedIn, it's
Yes.
one of my favorite questions that I just have to ask everyone. And I'm sure that you get a lot of DMs like this, a lot of questions like this, but still I have to ask you. When someone asks you, Kamya, how to grow on LinkedIn, how to go viral, what's your advice? What do you usually tell people? What's your piece of advice for this?
Think firstly, people need to get the entire idea of going viral out of their mind because going viral isn't really going to get you anything. Because if you go viral for like a one off post and that's not even your community, it's just useless having those people there because they're not going to be interested into the following posts. And if going viral isn't even getting you revenue for your business, then what's the point of going viral? So I would say get that idea out of your head. And once you have, always write your posts like you're talking to a friend. And because I say that because when we say authenticity, people just feel like it's a buzzword everyone's throwing around authenticity and community, but it's actually how people identify you. Like if you read my posts online, it should feel exactly how you would when you're talking to me in person or through a screen. It shouldn't feel different because that's what makes people want to follow you and follow along your journey. So forget about the metrics. First, focus on how you're actually writing because once you have that in place, people automatically will want to follow along your journey, and then that's how you grow your brand.
That's a great piece of advice. And something that comes to my mind is, for example, it ties perfectly to the authenticity as well as community. When you post
Yes.
and you see people engaging, and I'm sure I don't want to bring it up because it's a topic on its own, but when people comment and you can see literally that's like, AI comment, I cannot imagine anyone talking like that in the real life. The way that they structure
Yeah.
their comments.
Yeah. I mean, some comments I get, I know they're AI because they don't even relate to the question I've asked in the caption, or they don't even relate to what I've actually written. So I just don't even know what to reply to them sometimes. I just leave them. I don't really reply.
Yeah, me too. Or sometimes I call them out because I think it's kind of helpful for them because I noticed that it's
Yeah.
AI, but I'm sure that they comment this way on others' posts as well. And if they learn
Yeah.
it, like, kind of from me not to use that, it might help them. So
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
I think they see it as a shortcut, but in the end, it's rather harmful than shortcut.
100%, because I feel like people forget that LinkedIn, if you're here seriously, it's a very long-term game. You're going to be here for a while. It's not like a one-off, like it's not a trend. Like personal branding isn't a trend. It's been here for a while. It's going to be here forever.
Exactly. What's then your presence on other social media channels? We discussed Instagram. So,
Yeah.
are there any other channels that you use or that you plan to use or that you are active on?
So I think Instagram is definitely something I'm kind of like really, really kind of inching towards. I want to talk about like marketing and personal branding, and I also want to show a bit of like my 9 to 5 work life or anything I do. Like I go to an event, kind of things on Instagram. Right now, it's only been kind of like my art page that's public on Instagram. My other page is private, but hopefully I kind of swallow the cringe and I'm able to make it public and actually get more people to join that page. But it was something I was actually like talking to a friend about right before, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I think I'm a very private person to make that page public, but I don't think I have the capacity to create another third Instagram account. So once I kind of find that middle ground, you will see me on Instagram as well.
And any other channels? Or I know that it's a lot already, but maybe if you got any other or have plans to join any other channels?
I think one that I've been very silently present on with like a quite a consistent kind of viewership is Pinterest. It's actually like I don't understand how the algorithm works, because one day I'm just posting like 10 pins of like me going to a cafe and my views have just accelerated, and I'm saving someone's inspirational quotes when I'm feeling like my life's going downhill, and again I've gotten like increased in views. So yeah, I don't know how the algorithm works, but I mean, I am on Pinterest. I just post again my art or anything, like any creatives that I find. It's definitely not marketing or personal branding, but it's actually a very good underrated platform in my opinion.
It's interesting that you mention it because I cannot honestly remember anyone mentioning that, like on my podcast. I think I set it up a long time ago, but honestly, I feel like I've never used it. But I can see that for someone like you with your creative artwork, that it would actually make sense to use such a platform.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, as well as like even if I think people want to promote their business, they are able to sell their digital products, because I've definitely seen people do that. So yeah, if anyone's listening and wants to kind of hop on, this is your sign.
And make sure to follow Kamya there as well.
Yeah, don't forget.
So before, as we discussed kind of the AI side and AI topic, and also content creation, what are your favorite tools that you use, such as for content creation or, kind of in general what you use? And it can be AI or anything for design or any other tools.
I think Notion just needs to get me on their like brand ambassador, PR, some kind of like platform, because the amount I kind of rave about Notion, I made my like current company build this entire like new ecosystem on Notion because I love it so much. I love it for my own personal brand. I recommend it to people. I just love Notion. I think my entire brain, my life lives on Notion. So I would say first one being Notion. For design, I would say Canva because yeah, just very basic. I have like my templates there for carousels and statics, so I just like to go with Canva. In terms of AI, for ideation, I don't use AI. I feel like ideas are everywhere and I just like to like type them on notes. So whenever I'm on the go and I get an idea, I'll just like dump it there. What I use AI for example, ChatGPT, is like just to kind of refine my post because I feel like I actually take talking to a friend in my post quite literally. So I can go on yapping in the post. I know people have a very less attention span. So I need to get ChatGPT to kind of condense it, keep it to the point and keep it crisp. Otherwise, we're going to be there for like years. So I think that's what AI really, really helped me with because I just love like yapping and writing. So yeah.
Yeah, if someone from Notion is listening, I hope they reach out for a partnership with you or
Yeah, I
give a
hope they
discount or
do.
something.
I think we need to get on. Yeah.
I think I don't know why, but I'm one of those people that I feel like I joined Notion quite late. I heard so many people talking about it, whether on LinkedIn or even some ads, and I always,
Yeah.
I don't know why, I haven't joined, but lately or recently I started more and I like it as well, not going to lie.
I feel like with Notion, people like find it relatively hard to kind of get their head around it because it is hard initially, like with the different like templates and calendar and stuff. But once you get used to it and once you have it organized, then yeah, your life can like depend on it.
I think so too. And also, if you are a visual person, someone who likes just beautifully designed stuff, you can really make beautiful pages in Notion. And I like just when it looks really nice, and in Notion you can play with that. So I think it's another benefit.
Yeah, exactly. Agree.
And I also been person who used to write everything in notes on iPhone or MacBook or anything, but after some time it gets extremely slow, so it's just impossible to use it anymore.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely gets cluttered. So my ideas are like roaming around like grocery lists and who I need to call and like the drop-offs I need to do. So it's just like floating in my app. Yeah.
Yeah, same. And Kamya, I always like to ask kind of lighter questions as we are approaching the end. So, what are some of your hobbies, or what are some things that you like to do in your free time?
So I definitely love to do art, but the other thing I love to do is spending my money on overpriced ice lattes in London.
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, you will always find me at a new cafe in London on the weekend. Just, yeah, spending my money on coffee.
Is it like Starbucks in Costa?
Actually not. So because I started my own small business, I've actually developed this very like intentional gratitude and appreciation towards smaller businesses and independent bakeries. So I like to support them more often. So I kind of find these independent individual like cafes and just yeah, try them out. Like if I like them or not, then keep going to them. Otherwise, yeah, just support them.
No, I of course I like it. I was just joking. I'm not a coffee drinker, but if there was anyone who wanted to try, have you got any favorite places that you would recommend to people?
Oh yeah, there's so many actually. But in London, I really like Watch House. There's also Nagare. There's also Kuro Bakery in Notting Hill. And I live in Notting Hill. So if you're in Notting Hill, don't forget to come say hi to me.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Then another question is, do you read books? And if so, have you got any favorite ones?
I actually haven't, I don't read that many books, but I actually got gifted this book by a friend yesterday, which is called The Life Brief. And yeah, it seems very interesting because apparently it's going to help you get your life together. I think I could do with that. So yeah, I'm very excited to kind of read it. But the other one I really like is a very classic one is Atomic Habits. I kind of just, yeah, read a chapter one off here and there, but I'm not a very big avid book reader because one or two pages in, I'm just going to be falling asleep. So, yeah.
Why did you get that one from your friend? Is it some kind of message with such a book, or was it just a coincidence?
It was actually this creator that I met yesterday. And yeah, I think it got recommended in her book club and she just thought of me because I'm kind of just like building out on LinkedIn, also started like my job recently. So yeah, she thought it was just gonna be like helpful. And I hope that was it, not any other secret signs.
No, no, no. Yeah, I was just joking. Then you said it already, or we discussed it already, but can you summarize where people can find you, follow you, and potentially promote any of your services?
Yes, of course. So, I don't have any services, but if any brand is looking for partnerships, please do reach out to me. But I'm on LinkedIn, so I'm sure it'll be somewhere in the links, but it's just my name, Kamya Marwah. And I'm on Instagram, which is Kamya's_creators. And if by the time this is released and I've gathered the courage to build another Instagram account, I will let you know.
And as always, I will add any links to the show notes. And before, I asked you about your inspiration on LinkedIn, but have you got any, let's say, like favorite people that you follow, even outside of LinkedIn, that, I don't know, are your inspiration, motivation, or that you look up to?
I think one person that actually made me kind of start on LinkedIn is Laura Costa. I recently got to meet her at an event, and I feel
Oh,
like it's her videos that constantly keep me going, and it's just been her content. So I feel like even now that she's building out an Instagram, that's really inspired me that after you build your presence on one platform, it is really important that you also kind of cultivate your community and your presence on other platforms. So I feel like it has to be Laura. That has to be the first name that comes to mind.
I'm happy to hear that. I hope that one day Lara listens to my podcast and hears how many times her name has been mentioned across the episodes.
Yeah, I'm manifesting that for you.
Thank you. And now I don't want to make it sound like interview question, but my genuine question is, what are your like goals or ambitions or even some plans?
Do you mean like 5 year, 10 year, or do you mean end of the year?
That's a good question. I think 10 year is probably too long. End of the year is too short, so maybe something in between.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, fair enough. I think I definitely see myself building something of my own. That's exactly whatever step I'm taking in my professional journey, even with LinkedIn, it's very intentionally built towards the fact that I want to kind of be the founder of my own startup and my own venture. I have no idea what it's going to be. I know people always be like, oh, you're going to open a marketing agency, it's going to be something about marketing, but I very well know it's not going to be marketing. It's just going to be something different. I don't know what. Everyone's gonna have to like stay tuned for the surprise, but that's where I see myself.
Yeah, it sounds great. And I think you're on the right track. And then the very last question would be that if there is something that I should have asked you and did not, if there is anything that you would like to share before we finish, or any final piece of advice.
I think a piece of advice that I actually love giving to people, whether you want to start posting on LinkedIn and haven't already, or whether you're waiting to like start something of your own, just whatever you're waiting to do, just don't wait because the perfect time will never arrive. And I feel like I never took these signs before early on when I was still at university and when I was still a student. But yeah, if you can learn anything from my journey, just don't wait for the perfect time because it doesn't exist and just, yeah, start. I would say that.
I think that's a great one. I completely agree. I encourage people to do the same. And I think then, Kamya, we can finish. I want to say a big thank you because as I've been following you on LinkedIn and enjoying your content, I think you're doing great work. I like your brand. It was a pleasure to meet you at least virtually. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm glad to stay in touch and thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Produced by with Tomen. Check the show notes for all the links and don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your feedback. Speak soon.